Have you ever wished you could truly understand someone without them ever knowing? To see past the surface, to sense what they're really feeling or thinking, even when their words say something different? Imagine the quiet power that comes from knowing the truth beneath every smile, every glance, every hesitation. This isn't about manipulation or trickery. It's about a deeper kind of freedom. The freedom to navigate life with clarity, to build trust where others falter, and to protect your heart from surprise or betrayal. When you learn how to read people without them realizing, you unlock a secret language that transforms your relationships, your choices, and ultimately your life. Think about the times you felt lost in a conversation, unsure if you were really understood or if you could trust the person in front of you. That uncertainty is painful. It breeds doubt and fear. But what if you could turn that uncertainty into confidence? What if every interaction became a chance to connect more deeply, to see clearly through confusion and deception? The ability to quietly observe and understand others is a skill that builds not just connection, but courage. It gives you control, not over others, but over how you respond, how you protect your peace, and how you choose your path forward. This skill turns fear into strength, hesitation into action. You might wonder if this is something anyone can learn, or if it's a gift only a few possess. The truth is, it's within reach for you right now. Every person has the potential to become a master observer of human nature. It starts with awareness, the simple act of paying attention, deeply and without judgment. It means noticing the small details others overlook, a fleeting expression, a subtle shift in posture, a change in tone. These are the clues people give away unconsciously, and when you tune in, you begin to see the world with new eyes. This kind of seeing is powerful because it is silent. It does not shout or demand. It whispers truth, and that whisper builds a foundation of trust within yourself. The emotional reward for learning to read people silently is profound. It's not just about understanding others. It's about transforming your own experience of the world. When you can read people without them knowing, you stop feeling like a victim of social uncertainty. You gain a quiet confidence that protects you from deception and disappointment. You become a calm observer in the storm, able to act with clarity instead of reacting out of fear. This changes how you show up every day, how you carry yourself, and how you choose the people you let into your life. By the end of this journey, you will not only see others more clearly, but you will also see yourself more clearly, the strengths you hold, the boundaries you need, the courage you can summon. This skill will become a shield and a tool, helping you move through life with grace and power. Stay with me, because what you're about to learn will unlock a new level of freedom, one that starts the moment you decide to open your eyes and truly see. Why does the ability to read people hold such profound power over our lives? Because every interaction shapes the world we live in. Every glance exchanged, every word spoken, creates a ripple that touches our emotions, our decisions, and our destiny. When you learn to understand others beneath their surface, you gain control over moments that once felt chaotic and unpredictable. You no longer drift aimlessly through conversations, unsure if what you see is real or masked by hidden agendas. Instead, you move with purpose, equipped to handle complexity with grace. This ability rewires how you experience relationships, dissolving fear and replacing it with clarity and courage. Life is built on connections. The people around you influence your mood, your opportunities, your future, yet so often we feel powerless in these exchanges, vulnerable to misunderstandings, hurt, and deception. This vulnerability drains our energy and steals our peace. But imagine reclaiming that power. Imagine walking into any room and sensing the true energy beneath the smiles and words. Imagine knowing when someone's voice hides tension, or when their eyes reveal truth before their mouth does. This is more than a skill. It's an emotional armor that protects your heart while opening you to deeper, more authentic bonds. This ability to read people changes everything because it rewires your brain's natural responses. Instead of reacting on fear or guesswork, you respond with insight and calm. The uncertainty that once triggered anxiety dissolves because you are anchored in awareness. This awareness becomes a steady light in the storm of social chaos. It empowers you to choose how you engage or withdraw, to decide who deserves your time and trust. With this power, you stop being a passive participant in your life. You become the author of your social story, writing each chapter with confidence and wisdom. Your relationships transform as a result. When you understand what lies beneath the surface, you communicate differently, more clearly, more compassionately, more effectively. You learn to listen beyond words, to feel the unspoken emotions and needs of those around you. This deep understanding fosters trust and connection, breaking down walls that once kept you isolated. You'll find that people naturally gravitate toward you, sensing the authenticity and calm strength you carry. This magnetic presence grows from the silent knowledge that you see them fully, even without a single word exchanged. Beyond others, this skill becomes a mirror to your own growth. As you sharpen your perception, you develop patience, empathy, and resilience. You start to notice your own habits and reactions more clearly, gaining control over your inner world as well as your outer interactions. This dual growth is the heart of transformation, the courage to see truth without fear and the strength to act on it with integrity. The power to read people silently gives you the ultimate advantage: freedom. Freedom from doubt, freedom from false impressions, freedom to choose the relationships and environments that fuel your growth and protect your spirit. It's a freedom rooted in deep self-trust and unwavering presence. When you master this art, you don't just survive social situations, you thrive in them, becoming a beacon of calm clarity in a confusing world. This is the path forward, a journey of courage and wisdom that begins the moment you decide to see beneath the surface and own your power. The foundation of this powerful skill lies in understanding the science behind human behavior, the subtle signals that reveal what words cannot. Every expression, every movement, every shift in tone carries meaning beneath the surface, whether consciously or unconsciously sent. When you learn to recognize these cues, you begin to unlock a language that speaks directly to your intuition. Your brain becomes a finely tuned instrument capable of picking up whispers of truth hidden in the smallest details. This isn't guesswork or assumption. It's a precise science rooted in our biology, proven by decades of research. When you connect with this knowledge, you are not just guessing who someone is, you are perceiving who they truly are in that moment. What makes this skill so transformative is that it rewires how you experience reality. The world shifts from a place of confusion and uncertainty to a landscape of insight and control. Instead of being caught off guard by others' true feelings, you anticipate and understand them silently. This anticipation brings calm. It reduces stress. You begin to respond instead of react, turning emotional chaos into clear, decisive action. Your mind becomes a sanctuary where fear no longer holds power because you are anchored in understanding. Recognizing the science behind these subtle cues also deepens your compassion and empathy. When you see how others' hidden emotions shape their words and actions, you begin to forgive more easily, not just others, but yourself. You understand that behind every tense glance or hurried word is a human being struggling, afraid, or longing to be understood. This insight softens your heart, yet strengthens your boundaries. You learn to meet others where they are, without losing yourself. This balance of empathy and strength becomes a source of quiet confidence and emotional resilience. Your brain's ability to notice these signals grows stronger with practice. The more you tune into the small signs, the flicker of an eyebrow, a brief hesitation, the cadence of speech, the more automatic and natural this skill becomes. It's like exercising a muscle that has always been there, waiting to be awakened. This growth is exciting because it reveals a new way of being in the world, aware, present, and powerful without needing to dominate or control. Instead, you influence and understand quietly, deeply, effortlessly. This science is also a mirror, reflecting back your own hidden thoughts and feelings. As you become skilled at reading others, you begin to observe yourself with the same clarity. You notice when your own body betrays anxiety or excitement, when your tone shifts in uncertainty, or when your expressions reveal more than your words intend. This self-awareness is essential to mastery. It allows you to regulate your emotions and present your most authentic self. You become the person who acts with intention, not impulse. By embracing the science behind human behavior, you step into a realm of personal power that transforms every interaction. It frees you from the fear of being deceived or misunderstood. It opens the door to deeper connection and greater influence. When you see clearly, you act boldly. When you act boldly, you change your life. This knowledge is the key that unlocks freedom. The freedom to live with confidence, courage, and clarity in a world that often feels uncertain and confusing. To truly master the art of reading people without them knowing, you must cultivate a skill that many overlook: the power of observation without judgment. It's not enough to simply notice details. You must learn to watch without labeling, without reacting internally or externally. This kind of observation requires presence, a calm, open awareness that sees clearly without interference. When you watch someone with judgment, your mind fills the space with assumptions, stories, and biases that cloud the truth. But when you observe with pure attention, you begin to see what really is, not what you fear or hope it to be. This clarity is where transformation begins. Being present in observation is a form of strength. It takes courage to quiet your mind and resist the urge to jump to conclusions. Yet when you commit to this practice, you tap into a source of power that changes how you experience every encounter. You become a silent witness to the nuances of human behavior, able to detect shifts in energy, tension, and emotion that most people miss. This awareness is like a sixth sense. It warns you of hidden feelings and intentions before they surface in words or actions. When you cultivate this strength, you no longer feel trapped by others' unpredictability. Instead, you move through the world with steady confidence, grounded in the truth you silently observe. Observation without judgment also deepens your emotional intelligence. It allows you to separate your feelings from those of others, giving you space to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This space creates a protective boundary around your emotions, preventing confusion and overwhelm. You learn to hold compassion for others without losing control over your own inner state. This balance is crucial because it frees you from being manipulated or drained by the emotions swirling around you. You become the calm center in the storm, able to navigate even the most charged situations with grace. As your observation sharpens, you'll notice patterns emerging, consistent behaviors that reveal core truths about the people you encounter. These patterns are invaluable. They give you insight into motivations, fears, and desires without a single word spoken. Recognizing patterns transforms your understanding from fragmented glimpses into a coherent picture of who someone really is. This understanding creates clarity and predictability in your interactions, reducing anxiety and building trust. It is the difference between guessing and knowing, between confusion and certainty. This skill also rewires your relationship with yourself. As you become a non-judgmental observer of others, you cultivate the same kindness toward your own thoughts and emotions. You learn to notice your inner dialogue without criticism or shame. This self-awareness strengthens your emotional resilience and deepens your capacity for self-love. When you watch yourself with gentle attention, you gain control over your reactions and the ability to choose your responses consciously. This inner mastery radiates outward, affecting every connection you make. Cultivating observation without judgment is not a passive act. It is an active daily practice that builds mental clarity and emotional power. It invites you to become deeply present, to listen beyond words, and to see beneath appearances. This practice will transform your relationships, your confidence, and your sense of safety in the world. It will free you from confusion and fear, allowing you to step fully into your power. When you commit to observing with clarity and compassion, you unlock the silent strength that changes everything. True mastery in reading people comes not only from what you see, but how deeply you listen. Listening is far more than hearing words. It is tuning into the emotions and intentions hidden beneath speech. When you listen with this kind of presence, you begin to pick up on the subtle rhythms of voice, the pauses, the changes in pitch, the hesitations that reveal what the other person truly feels but may not say aloud. This is where authentic understanding lives, in the spaces between words, in the silences, in the energy behind the conversation. Learning to listen this way transforms communication from mere exchange into a powerful connection that reveals truth without confrontation. Listening deeply requires surrendering your own agenda and opening fully to the other person's experience. It means quieting the inner voice that plans responses or judgments and instead focusing entirely on the moment before you. This focused attention invites trust because people sense when they are truly heard. It allows you to understand their fears, hopes, and motivations without them needing to explain or defend themselves. This kind of listening builds bridges where walls once stood and dissolves resistance with the power of empathy. The emotional reward is profound. You become the safe space others seek, the quiet observer who holds their truth without judgment or interruption. At the core of this skill is a shift in your mindset, from wanting to fix or change to simply understanding. When you listen to understand, you cultivate patience and compassion. that ripples through every interaction. This patience fuels your courage, giving you the strength to stay present even when conversations become uncomfortable or charged. It teaches you to trust that beneath conflict or confusion lies a deeper need or fear waiting to be acknowledged. This awareness not only protects your emotional well-being, but empowers you to respond with wisdom rather than reaction. It is the foundation of emotional intelligence that transforms chaos into calm. This deep listening also enhances your ability to detect unspoken truths. People often communicate more through tone and energy than through words alone. A raised voice might mask insecurity. A soft tone might hide anger. Hesitation might conceal fear. When you attune your senses to these hidden signals, you see beyond the surface and gain insight into what drives behavior. This insight is your advantage. It allows you to navigate relationships with precision, responding to the real emotions rather than just the words spoken. This precision strengthens your confidence and frees you from being blindsided by surprises. Mastering this level of listening takes intention and practice. It asks you to slow down and engage fully with each interaction, resisting distractions and internal noise. It invites you to become a student of silence, finding meaning not just in what is said, but in what is left unsaid. With every conversation, your capacity to listen deeply grows, becoming a natural part of how you connect with others. This growth reshapes your world. It opens doors to deeper trust, greater influence, and unshakable confidence. When you listen beyond words, you step into a power that is silent yet undeniable, a power that changes everything. Your body speaks a language that your mind often misses, a language of subtle movements and unconscious signals that reveal the truth beneath words. Learning to read these physical cues is a cornerstone of understanding people deeply and silently. Every twitch of a muscle, every change in posture, every glance carries meaning that cannot be fully controlled or hidden. When you become attuned to these signals, you gain a window into the unspoken emotions swirling beneath the surface. This awareness offers you an extraordinary advantage, the ability to sense what is real and what is masked, without ever uttering a word or alerting anyone to your insight. This skill taps into the most primal part of your brain, where intuition and instinct reside. Your body naturally responds to cues from others, but often we overlook these signals or misinterpret them through the filter of our own biases. Training yourself to observe physical language with clarity means stepping beyond assumptions and seeing what truly is. It requires quieting your mind to notice the small shifts, a tightening of the jaw, a subtle withdrawal of the shoulders, a fleeting avoidance of eye contact. These moments are rich with information, revealing discomfort, excitement, truth, or deceit. When you learn to trust this silent language, your confidence in social situations soars and your ability to navigate complex dynamics deepens. Understanding body language also strengthens your emotional resilience. People's unspoken signals often reflect their fears, defenses, or desires, which may trigger your own emotional reactions if left unchecked. But when you approach these cues as data rather than drama, you create emotional space. This space allows you to stay grounded, responding thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Your calm presence becomes a powerful force capable of diffusing tension and creating connection. You become the steady observer who remains composed, even when others are caught in emotional storms. This steadiness is not just admirable, it is transformative. It changes how people perceive you and how you experience every interaction. This mastery of physical cues also enhances your intuition. It sharpens your sense of timing and judgment, enabling you to anticipate shifts in mood or intention before they become obvious. This foresight gives you control over your responses and decisions, reducing surprises and uncertainty. You begin to see people and situations clearly, not as puzzles to solve, but as realities to navigate with wisdom. This clarity builds unshakable confidence, freeing you from anxiety and doubt. It empowers you to act decisively and authentically, guided by the silent truths you perceive. Developing this skill demands deliberate attention and patience. It asks you to slow down, to observe without distraction or rush. It invites you to become curious about the physical stories people tell, noticing patterns and inconsistencies that reveal hidden layers. With practice, this observation becomes effortless, woven into your awareness like breathing. The power of this silent understanding transforms your life. You move through relationships and environments with quiet authority, protected by knowledge that others don't see coming. This power is your secret strength, a source of courage, clarity, and control that transforms every interaction into an opportunity for connection and growth. Every moment carries energy, a vibration that communicates far beyond words or gestures. Learning to sense and interpret this energy elevates your ability to read people to an extraordinary level. Energy reveals the true emotional state beneath any interaction, the currents of intention and feeling that pulse beneath the surface. When you tune into this subtle force, you begin to understand what people are really offering or withholding, even when they try to mask it. This energy is raw and honest, impossible to fake completely. And when you learn to feel it deeply, you step into a realm of awareness that few ever reach. This awareness becomes a compass guiding you through the complex landscape of human connection. The power of sensing energy lies in its immediacy. It bypasses the noise of thoughts and words, delivering information straight to your intuition. You might feel a sudden heaviness in a room, a subtle shift when someone enters, or a wave of warmth during a genuine smile. These sensations are signals your body receives before your mind even catches up. They are the truth tellers that reveal what is hidden beneath polite conversation or rehearsed behavior. By trusting this inner sensing, you break free from surface illusions and access a deeper truth that fuels confidence and clarity in every interaction. Tuning into energy also expands your emotional intelligence. It teaches you to read the emotional atmosphere as accurately as you read a person's face or tone of voice. This skill sharpens your empathy, allowing you to connect on a level that transcends words. You begin to feel not just what is said, but what is felt: pain, joy, hesitation, or desire. This emotional attunement transforms your relationships, making them more authentic and meaningful. It also strengthens your boundaries. As you learn to recognize when energy becomes toxic or draining, you develop the wisdom to step back, protect your space, and preserve your peace without confrontation or conflict. This heightened awareness of energy also deepens your self-awareness. You start to notice the energy you carry and how it affects those around you. You become more mindful of your presence, learning to cultivate calm, confidence, and warmth that draw others in rather than push them away. This conscious management of your own energy becomes a powerful tool for influence and connection. It shapes the way you show up in every room, giving you a magnetic presence grounded in authenticity and emotional strength. Mastering the ability to sense energy requires openness and practice. It asks you to quiet your mind and attune your body to feelings and sensations often overlooked. With consistent attention, you learn to differentiate between energies that uplift and those that drain, between genuine connection and superficial interaction. This sensitivity becomes an intuitive guide that informs your choices, protects your heart, and expands your capacity for connection. When you embrace this power, you move through the world with quiet authority and unshakable confidence, knowing that the truth you sense beneath the surface will always lead you right. Understanding the power of silence is essential to mastering the subtle art of reading people without them knowing. Silence is more than just the absence of words. It is a powerful communication tool that holds space for truth to emerge. When you embrace silence within interactions, you create an environment where people reveal more than they intend. Silence invites reflection, discomfort, and honesty, often prompting others to fill the void with their true feelings or thoughts. Learning to hold this silence confidently becomes a secret weapon, one that deepens your insight and strengthens your presence without uttering a single word. Holding silence requires patience and emotional control. It challenges the natural impulse to rush to fill gaps or steer conversations. Yet, when you resist this urge, you communicate something far more profound: respect for the moment and the person before you. This respect fosters trust and openness. People feel seen and heard simply because you are willing to wait quietly, allowing space for their unspoken truths to surface. The power of silence lies in its ability to encourage vulnerability without pressure, creating a connection rooted in authenticity rather than superficial chatter. Silence also sharpens your observational skills. In moments of quiet, every detail, the shift in posture, the flicker of an eye, the tone of a breath, becomes more noticeable. These small, often overlooked signals tell stories louder than words. When you embrace silence, you heighten your awareness, tuning into the invisible language of emotions and intentions that most people miss. This increased sensitivity transforms your understanding, giving you a clearer, deeper picture of who someone really is beneath their surface. Moreover, silence is a powerful tool for managing your own emotional state. It offers a pause, a moment to breathe, reflect, and regain composure. In a world that often demands constant noise and reaction, cultivating silence within yourself builds inner strength and resilience. This inner calm anchors you, allowing you to remain present and centered even in challenging interactions. When you hold silence with grace, you signal confidence and self-control, qualities that inspire respect and influence without domination. Mastering silence transforms not only your ability to read others, but also your relationship with yourself. It teaches you to be comfortable with discomfort, to embrace uncertainty, and to trust the process of connection unfolding naturally. This acceptance cultivates patience, humility, and wisdom, traits that deepen every encounter and enrich your personal growth. Silence becomes a sacred space where insight and transformation emerge quietly but powerfully. Practicing silence demands courage and intentionality. It calls you to slow down, to resist distractions, and to stay fully present even when the urge to speak is strong. With consistent practice, silence evolves from awkwardness into strength, from absence into presence. It becomes a dynamic force that shapes your interactions and your influence, allowing you to read and understand people with subtlety and depth. Embracing silence is embracing your power, the silent strength that sees clearly, listens deeply, and connects authentically, all without saying a single word. Every interaction is a dance of microexpressions, those fleeting facial movements that flash across someone's face in a heartbeat, revealing emotions too quick for words to capture. Learning to notice and interpret these subtle expressions gives you access to a hidden layer of truth that most people never see. Microexpressions are the honest whispers of the soul, betraying feelings like fear, joy, anger, or sadness in an instant. When you become fluent in this silent language, you unlock the ability to read beyond what is spoken, perceiving the real emotions driving behavior beneath carefully crafted facades. Recognizing microexpressions requires intense focus and refined awareness. These expressions last only fractions of a second, easily missed by the untrained eye or dismissed as insignificant. But every moment holds meaning. When you slow down your perception and train your mind to catch these subtle signals, you begin to decode the emotional undercurrents shaping every conversation. This skill deepens your connection to others and sharpens your insight into their true states of mind. You gain the power to anticipate reactions, respond with empathy, and navigate social dynamics with precision and grace. Mastering microexpressions also strengthens your emotional intelligence by teaching you to trust what you see rather than what you're told. Words can be manipulated, masks can be worn, but microexpressions leak truth even in the most guarded moments. This awareness liberates you from illusions and deception, anchoring your understanding in reality. It gives you confidence and clarity in relationships, reducing confusion and anxiety. You no longer have to guess at hidden feelings or second-guess intentions. Instead, you move forward with quiet certainty, guided by the honest signals your eyes reveal. This skill also builds your own self-awareness. As you learn to read microexpressions in others, you become more attuned to the subtle expressions you yourself display. This self-knowledge allows you to manage your emotional presence more consciously. You gain control over the messages you send with your face, ensuring your expressions align with your intentions. This alignment increases your authenticity and influence, making your interactions more powerful and trustworthy. The deeper your awareness of these small but significant cues, the stronger your ability to communicate without words. Developing this ability takes patience and consistent practice. It demands that you quiet your mind, focus your attention, and sharpen your perception to the smallest details. Over time, observing microexpressions becomes second nature, seamlessly woven into how you engage with the world. This heightened sensitivity transforms not only your relationships, but your sense of self, expanding your emotional capacity and deepening your understanding of human nature. When you master the silent language of microexpressions, you step into a realm of insight and influence that few ever reach. It is a power both subtle and profound, one that empowers you to read truth, inspire trust, and connect on the deepest level, all without uttering a single word. The rhythm of speech holds a hidden map to the emotions beneath the surface, guiding you toward deeper understanding without a single glance. Listening beyond the words, you begin to notice patterns in tone, pace, and volume, clues that reveal vulnerability, confidence, hesitation, or even deception. This subtle language of voice inflection is a powerful tool to read people silently and effectively. When you train yourself to hear these signals, you gain access to the feelings someone might be trying to conceal, the tension they carry, or the excitement they barely contain. The voice becomes a window to the soul, offering truths that words alone could never express. Every fluctuation in tone is a signal. A voice that softens unexpectedly may hint at uncertainty or sadness. A sudden increase in speed might expose anxiety or eagerness to escape discomfort. A carefully controlled volume can mask fear or insecurity, while a steady, calm cadence often reflects confidence and composure. These auditory cues are natural and involuntary. They slip through even the most practiced facades. Recognizing them sharpens your emotional radar, allowing you to sense what remains unsaid and respond with empathy and insight. This skill transforms communication from surface-level exchange into deep, authentic connection. Attuning yourself to these vocal subtleties strengthens your emotional intelligence by teaching you to trust more than just spoken facts. People often say what they think you want to hear, but their voice betrays the truth beneath. This awareness frees you from manipulation and false impressions, grounding you in reality. It brings clarity where confusion once ruled, reducing anxiety about intentions and helping you make wiser choices in relationships and conversations. When you understand the emotional language carried in the voice, you gain a quiet confidence that steadies you in uncertain social waters. This heightened sensitivity also enhances your own self-expression. As you become more aware of vocal cues in others, you grow more conscious of the signals you send through your own voice. You learn to modulate tone, pace, and volume to align your words with your true feelings and intentions. This congruence between voice and heart creates authenticity, making your communication more persuasive and trustworthy. The ability to control your vocal presence empowers you to influence and inspire without force, leading with subtlety and grace. Cultivating this skill requires intentional listening and mindful practice. It asks you to slow down and really hear, not just the words, but the music behind them. With each conversation, your ear becomes more attuned, effortlessly picking up on shifts in emotion and intention. This deepened awareness elevates your interactions and deepens your understanding of human nature. Listening to the voice beneath the words is a form of silent mastery, an art that enhances your influence and connection without ever revealing the depth of your insight. When you embrace this power, you unlock a new level of presence and wisdom, guiding you toward meaningful connection and transformation in every encounter. Every detail in the way someone moves, the subtle shifts in posture, the positioning of their hands, the direction of their feet, tells a story that words often fail to convey. Body language is a rich, silent code that reveals feelings, intentions, and truths hidden beneath spoken conversation. When you learn to read these physical signals, you gain an unspoken advantage, a way to understand what people truly feel even when they try to hide it. This awareness grounds you in reality and empowers you to respond with clarity and confidence, transforming your interactions into moments of genuine connection and insight. The way a person holds themselves speaks volumes. An open stance suggests receptivity and trust, while crossed arms or legs often signal defensiveness or discomfort. Small gestures like tapping fingers or shifting weight can reveal impatience, anxiety, or excitement. The direction of their gaze can expose focus or avoidance. These cues are involuntary, leaking truth through the cracks of conscious control. Your ability to notice these details sharpens your perception, allowing you to decode the unspoken dialogue that shapes every encounter. You begin to see beneath the surface, sensing the emotional landscape that words alone cannot map. Mastering body language reading also deepens your emotional intelligence by teaching you to observe without judgment. Instead of reacting impulsively to what you see, you develop the skill to interpret signals thoughtfully, considering context and patterns. This mindful observation builds empathy, helping you to understand others' struggles, desires, and fears. It also builds patience, as you learn to wait for the full story to emerge through consistent cues rather than jumping to conclusions based on a single gesture. This balanced awareness creates a foundation of trust and respect in your relationships, enhancing both your personal and professional connections. This skill strengthens your own presence as well. As you become aware of others' body language, you gain insight into the messages you send with your own posture and movements. You learn to consciously project openness, confidence, and calm through your physicality. This alignment between internal intention and external expression boosts your authenticity and influence. People respond not just to your words, but to the energy your body radiates. When your nonverbal signals align with your true self, your communication becomes powerful and magnetic, drawing others towards you naturally. Developing this ability requires intentional focus and practice. It invites you to slow down and really observe the small, often overlooked details that others miss. This patience and attentiveness transform your interactions, enabling you to anticipate emotional shifts and respond with wisdom rather than reaction. Over time, reading body language becomes an effortless part of your awareness, woven into the fabric of your social intelligence. This silent skill empowers you to navigate complex human dynamics with ease and grace, turning every encounter into an opportunity for connection, influence, and transformation. Through this mastery, you step into your power, the quiet, unwavering strength that sees clearly, understands deeply, and moves confidently in every moment. The way people choose their words reveals hidden layers of who they are and what they truly feel. Language is not just a tool for communication, it is a window into the mind and heart. The words someone selects, the patterns they repeat, and the metaphors they use all carry subtle clues about their beliefs, fears, and desires. When you learn to listen deeply to language beyond its surface meaning, you unlock a powerful method for reading people without alerting them. This skill sharpens your insight and allows you to connect with others on a profound level, gaining clarity and influence that few ever achieve. Every word holds weight. Notice if someone uses distancing language, such as avoiding I statements or speaking in vague terms. This can indicate discomfort, defensiveness, or a desire to hide vulnerability. Pay attention to repetition. Words or phrases that recur often reveal what a person is fixated on or struggling with internally. The metaphors they choose, the images they paint with words, offer a glimpse into their worldview and emotional state. These patterns are like fingerprints, unique and telling, a coded language beneath ordinary speech. Recognizing these subtle signs brings you closer to understanding the person behind the mask. Mastering language analysis builds emotional intelligence by teaching you to listen with intent and curiosity. It encourages you to suspend judgment and truly hear what lies beneath the words. This deeper listening fosters empathy and patience, as you learn to hold space for unspoken emotions and hidden meanings. It also enhances your ability to respond thoughtfully, using language that resonates and builds trust. When you speak to the unspoken needs behind someone's words, you create connection and openness that words alone cannot achieve. This awareness also transforms your own communication. As you tune into the language others use, you become more mindful of your own word choices. You learn to speak with clarity and intention, crafting messages that align with your true feelings and goals. This authenticity strengthens your influence and deepens your relationships. People sense when words are genuine, and they respond with trust and respect. By mastering the hidden language of words, you amplify your power to inspire, motivate, and connect on a meaningful level. Developing this skill requires focused attention and practice. It asks you to slow down and listen beyond surface meaning, tuning into the subtle rhythms and patterns in speech. With time, this sensitivity becomes second nature, woven into how you engage with the world. You begin to navigate conversations not as passive participants, but as active readers of the human mind and heart. This mastery of language deepens your understanding of human nature, enriches your emotional insight, and strengthens your ability to connect without barriers. Through this silent skill, you step into a space of quiet power, the power to read, understand, and influence with authenticity and grace. Trust is the invisible thread that weaves through every interaction, silently guiding the flow of connection and influence. Understanding how trust forms and reveals itself in subtle behaviors gives you access to a powerful force in human relationships. When someone trusts you, their body relaxes, their gaze softens, and their words carry warmth and honesty. Conversely, distrust manifests in tension, guarded expressions, and hesitant speech. Learning to sense these signals allows you to navigate social landscapes with precision, deepening bonds where trust is present, and recognizing barriers where it is not. This skill is essential for reading people without alerting them, as trust shapes every unspoken exchange beneath the surface. Trust is often earned through consistent, authentic presence. It reveals itself not in grand gestures, but in the small, repeated signals that communicate safety and respect. A genuine smile, a steady gaze, or a relaxed posture all signal openness and invite connection. When you become attuned to these subtle signs, you can sense when someone is opening their inner world to you. This awareness empowers you to meet them where they are emotionally, responding with empathy and integrity. In turn, your own trustworthiness grows, creating a cycle of mutual respect and understanding that strengthens every interaction. The absence of trust is equally telling. Watch for subtle signs of discomfort, tense muscles, fleeting glances away, clipped responses. These are the protective shields people raise when they feel uncertain or vulnerable. Recognizing these signals allows you to adjust your approach, cultivating safety and easing fears rather than pushing too hard or misreading resistance as rejection. This sensitivity transforms how you engage with others, fostering patience and compassion instead of frustration or impatience. It builds a foundation where true connection can eventually flourish, even in challenging situations. Developing the ability to read trust dynamics deepens your emotional intelligence by tuning you into the invisible currents of relationship energy. It sharpens your intuition, helping you distinguish between surface impressions and the deeper emotional truths beneath. This clarity reduces anxiety in social interactions, replacing guesswork with informed perception. You move through relationships with a calm confidence, grounded in the knowledge that trust can be felt as surely as it can be spoken. This insight guides you to create environments where honesty and vulnerability are welcomed, enhancing both personal growth and interpersonal harmony. Your own capacity to build and project trust grows alongside this awareness. As you become more conscious of the signals that foster connection, you learn to embody them authentically. Your presence becomes a source of comfort and reliability for others, drawing people toward you naturally. This alignment between inner integrity and outward behavior amplifies your influence and deepens your impact. Trust becomes not just a goal, but a lived experience, a quiet power that opens doors, breaks down walls, and transforms relationships. Mastering this silent language of trust equips you with the ability to read people profoundly and act with wisdom, creating a ripple effect of connection and transformation in every interaction. Emotions ripple beneath every interaction, shaping what is said and what remains hidden. The ability to sense and understand these emotional undercurrents empowers you to read people on a level beyond words and gestures. Emotions are raw, primal signals that influence behavior in ways most cannot control or disguise. When you become attuned to the emotional energy someone carries, you tap into a profound source of insight and connection. This skill deepens your awareness and allows you to respond with true empathy, breaking down barriers and fostering authentic bonds that transform both your relationships and your own inner world. Emotions often express themselves through subtle shifts in facial expression, micro movements, and changes in energy. A tightening jaw, a flicker of the eyes, or a slight pause in breath reveals feelings that may contradict spoken words. Learning to recognize these fleeting signals sharpens your ability to sense what is truly happening beneath the surface. You begin to see beyond masks and defenses, encountering the real person behind the facade. This emotional clarity dissolves confusion and doubt, replacing them with a grounded understanding that empowers you to engage with courage and compassion. Understanding emotional patterns also builds resilience within you. When you can read the emotional tides of others, you become less reactive and more centered. You no longer need to be swept away by conflict, manipulation, or misunderstandings. Instead, you observe with calm detachment, identifying the emotional source and choosing your response wisely. This emotional mastery strengthens your inner peace and expands your capacity for patience and forgiveness. It turns every difficult interaction into an opportunity for growth, teaching you to hold space for complexity without losing your sense of self. Your ability to navigate emotions elevates your communication to new heights. When you speak to the emotional reality of others, your words resonate with authenticity and power. People feel heard, seen, and understood, which deepens trust and opens hearts. This emotional attunement allows you to motivate and inspire without force, moving others through connection rather than coercion. Your influence grows not by dominating conversations, but by aligning with the emotional truth that drives human behavior. This alignment transforms influence into impact, creating change that lasts. Cultivating this emotional insight demands mindfulness and practice. It calls for slowing down and tuning into the invisible currents that shape every exchange. Over time, this heightened sensitivity becomes an effortless part of your presence, woven into every interaction with grace and intention. You learn to trust your instincts, reading emotional cues as naturally as you breathe. This silent, powerful skill gives you the ability to move through social situations with ease, unlocking doors that words alone cannot open. When you embrace this power, you become a beacon of understanding and strength. Someone who reads people without their knowing, and in doing so, transforms not only relationships but your own path forward. Every conversation is a dance of energy, an invisible exchange that pulses with intention, emotion, and unspoken truths. To truly read people without them knowing, you must become sensitive to this flow. Energy reveals what words cannot: hesitation, eagerness, resistance, or openness. When you tune into the rhythm of someone's presence, you gain a sixth sense, a subtle awareness that guides your understanding far beyond logic. This energy is the undercurrent that shapes connection and influence, and mastering it transforms your ability to perceive others deeply and authentically. People often mask their true feelings, carefully crafting the image they want to present. But energy cannot be faked. It slips through cracks in speech and body language, betraying hidden emotions and thoughts. You can sense when energy feels constricted, tight, restless, or scattered, or when it flows freely, calm, and grounded. This awareness helps you read the emotional temperature of a room or the inner state of a person with precision. You become an observer of vibrations, feeling the silent messages that underlie every interaction. This power awakens your intuition and sharpens your emotional insight. Mastering energy reading nurtures patience and presence. Instead of rushing to conclusions or reacting impulsively, you learn to hold space for subtle signals and shifting moods. You become attuned to the nuances of timing, sensing when to speak and when to listen, when to push gently, and when to pull back. This dance of energy demands deep respect for others' boundaries and emotional rhythms. As you practice this skill, your interactions become more fluid, natural, and effective. You move with grace through complexity, turning tension into harmony and resistance into openness. This sensitivity to energy also transforms your personal power. You learn to regulate your own energy, grounding yourself in calm confidence and steady intention. Your presence becomes magnetic, drawing others toward you not through force but through resonance. When your energy aligns with your purpose, your influence multiplies. People are drawn to your authenticity and strength, sensing the safety and clarity you radiate. This alignment between internal energy and external behavior amplifies your impact, enabling you to lead, inspire, and connect with profound effect. Developing this skill requires deliberate attention and practice. It asks you to slow down and feel beyond words and appearances, tuning into the invisible currents that shape human connection. Over time, this heightened energy awareness becomes second nature, woven seamlessly into your interactions. You begin to navigate social landscapes with intuitive ease, reading beneath the surface to the heart of what others feel and need. This silent mastery empowers you to move through life with confidence and compassion, creating relationships rich with understanding and trust. It is a quiet strength, an invisible force that transforms your ability to read people deeply and act with wisdom without them ever knowing you see beneath the surface. Words carry weight, but silence often speaks louder. Learning to read the spaces between words, the pauses that fill conversations, unlocks a deeper level of understanding. Silence is not empty, it is charged with meaning. It reveals hesitation, certainty, conflict, or peace. When you attune yourself to these quiet moments, you gain access to truths others try to conceal. This skill sharpens your perception, allowing you to sense emotions and intentions without a single word spoken. The power of silence is subtle yet immense, guiding you to see beyond surface interactions and into the heart of human experience. Silence creates a mirror, reflecting back unspoken thoughts and feelings. People often fill silence with their true selves, dropping facades when words fail them. Recognizing this gives you a window into their inner world. The length of a pause, the breath held before speaking, the sudden quiet after a charged statement, each carries clues. By embracing silence instead of rushing to fill it, you cultivate patience and awareness. You learn to listen with more than ears, tuning into the rhythms of thought and emotion that shape every exchange. This attentive listening is a powerful act of respect that deepens connection and trust. Mastering silence requires courage and discipline. It means resisting the urge to interrupt or respond prematurely. Instead, you sit with the unknown, allowing the moment to unfold naturally. This space invites honesty, encourages reflection, and often dissolves tension. When you hold silence confidently, you communicate strength and presence without words. Others sense this calm power and are drawn to it, lowering their defenses and opening more fully. In this way, silence becomes an ally, a tool that reveals hidden truths and fosters authentic connection. Silence also enhances your ability to read emotional shifts. Subtle changes in tone, the quick intake of breath, or a barely noticeable hesitation carry emotional weight that words may disguise. By focusing on these quiet cues, you access a deeper emotional landscape. This heightened sensitivity allows you to respond with empathy and precision, meeting others where they truly are. Your interactions become richer and more meaningful as you learn to honor the unspoken alongside the spoken. This balance of expression and restraint cultivates emotional intelligence and strengthens relationships. Developing this skill transforms your presence. You become someone who listens deeply, creating space for others to be heard and understood. Your awareness of silence elevates your influence, not by speaking more, but by speaking with intention and power when the time is right. This mastery of timing and restraint turns every conversation into a meaningful exchange. Silence becomes your secret language, a subtle but powerful force that allows you to read people without them ever realizing how deeply you understand them. In this quiet mastery lies the key to transformation, both in how you connect with others and how you grow within yourself. Every glance, every fleeting expression holds a world of meaning waiting to be uncovered. The eyes are windows not only to the soul, but to the truth hidden beneath words. When you learn to read these silent signals, you unlock a profound ability to understand people without them ever speaking their minds. The subtle shifts in gaze, the blink that comes too fast or too slow, the way pupils dilate or contract. These are involuntary signs that reveal emotions, intentions, and reactions. Your awareness of these details opens a door to deeper connection and insight that few ever access. Eye contact is a dance of vulnerability and power. When someone meets your gaze and holds it, they offer a silent invitation to connect on a level beyond conversation. When their eyes dart away, it signals discomfort, avoidance, or secrecy. By noticing these patterns, you gain a silent language that speaks volumes. You learn to recognize when trust is being extended or withheld, when confidence masks insecurity, and when honesty slips beneath the surface. This sensitivity to eye behavior heightens your emotional intelligence and sharpens your perception of truth. Reading eyes demands presence and focus. It requires slowing down and observing without judgment, without rushing to conclusions. You become attuned to the microexpressions that flash across the face, those tiny, rapid movements that betray real feelings before they are consciously controlled. These micromovements reveal what lies beneath pretense and facade, exposing raw emotion in its purest form. By honing your attention to these details, you develop a powerful inner radar that discerns truth from deception with subtlety and grace. This skill also transforms your communication. When you respond to the emotions reflected in someone's eyes, you create a feedback loop of empathy and understanding. Your connection deepens because you meet people where they are, not where they pretend to be. This authentic resonance breaks down barriers, builds trust, and invites openness. Your presence becomes a source of safety, a place where others feel truly seen and heard without needing to explain themselves. This kind of connection is rare and precious, and it elevates every relationship you touch.